though? Okay.
Recording in progress.
And we are recording. All right, let me just see how I'm gonna start this. This is a new one. All right, so all my stuff is up there. But where is my toggle down below to click to the new slide? Let's see. Spacebar should do it. What if I go too far? There we go. We're using arrows today, no space bar, everybody. Okay, well, welcome to our October meeting. We will be talking about our next shareholder meeting. We are going to go back to those that feel comfortable doing our Give Thanks luncheon. And it will be that Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So that will be the last slide that we talk about today. But I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that's here in the office and on Zoom, because I seem to lose some of you towards the end. So there will be a Google spreadsheet. We will do a turkey dinner-like style. We will set up the room. We will do practice social distancing. So we'll use the training room and we'll use out in the hallway where the productivity coaching room used to be. So if you're interested, we are going to have that. So I'm just letting everybody know. But we're going to kick it off with Jason. So Jason, welcome.
Good morning.
I know you have a lot here. So when you're ready, when you're ready, you just hit the arrow to go to some of the stuff you want to talk about
great.
today.
Well, good morning, everyone. Want to give you a couple things to think about in the upcoming weeks. Some positive industry news. You may have heard that they increased the conforming loan limits. They used to be at 548. They brought them all the way up to 625,000 for 2022. That's the largest gain in 1 year in 50 years. So they're really appreciating the fact that these homes have gone up in value and they're trying to let us, lend more in the conforming limits. 625 doesn't sound like a lot, but now we have to consider also the high balance loan limits, which are most of the counties in Massachusetts and then Rockingham and Stratford County in New Hampshire. Those are going to go up to 822. Why that's important is that keeps you in the, or retains the ability to run automation. And thank you, Mitchell.
Well, just keep going.
Okay, thank you.
Ignore me.
He's admitting new people. It allows you to run automation, things like appraisal waivers, income relief, where we don't have to get pay stubs and W-2s from folks, and also asset relief, where we're not having to get bank statements. So if we get all three of those, we can run our fast track loan. So all the way up to 822,000, we can get loans closed inside of 10 days because we don't need an appraisal. So if you have a borrower that you think might qualify for that, give them a shout or have them give me a shout and we'll see if we can run them preemptively. Yes.
Does that concern you in a potential like just because if they're not having to verify any income, that's just.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm not sure if anyone could hear that. The question was, does that concern us? Like, is it gonna bring us back to the early or late mid 2000s
Yeah,
where we're doing no doc loans and no verification? We're still verifying income through third-party vendors. So large companies like BAE and some of the larger businesses, we go online, we use what's called the worknumber.com. We pull that into our automated underwriting engines for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and they just accept that number. So we're not having to manually calculate income and overtime and bonuses and all that. John?
Can you predetermine if a house at a certain price is gonna get an appraisal?
We can to some degree. What we do is we turn it into a real deal. So say I have a pre-approved borrower and it's in, the address is in as a TBD. They're out shopping, they're looking around, and they come across 123 Main Street in Billerica. We put 123 Main Street in as a real deal, and I run it through the automated system. And based on that borrower's profile, it can spit back a relief of what's called a property inspection relief. So it is able to be done. It creates a lot of work for a lender though, because if they don't get their offer accepted, we have to withdraw that loan and recreate the loan in our system. But happy to do it. It's 15, 20 minutes extra work. Who cares?
Well, what would the factors be that would likely determine the appraisal?
We typically don't see them below 10% down.
Okay.
And Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac had to have some experience with the property in the last, I have to say, about 5 or 6 years. So if this has been in family held for 20 or 30 years and there's been no refinances or no appraisals, no way for the automated system to determine what that natural appreciation might look like over time, then the system can't do the calculation. So, but we don't typically see it under 20%, and you're not really getting them for cash out refinances either. FHA has not announced what their numbers are going to be. They don't come out to the beginning part of the year, but they are typically running at about 62% of whatever the conforming loan limits are. So if it's 625, they make it about 387. So a 3% down payment. We're finally over $400,000 for purchase prices on FHAs. We can do FHAs over 400,000. So that's good.
Conforming loan amounts regional. Because I've heard that they were based on the cost of housing,
Most certainly, they're county by county.
county by county.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how they're
Nationwide.
determined. Yep, nationwide. Yep. Hawaii, everything is 822,000 in Hawaii. All right, second piece of information, you may have seen that NAR was talking about housing starts and new construction, how it seems to be a lot lower than last year. Well, construction costs were up, so it stands to reason. So there's an inventory concern, but there is something looming in the background. So this whole forbearance policy, people didn't have to pay their mortgages for the past, 6-7 months if you applied for it. Those policies are starting to expire. So there may be some forced inventory out there. I would advise you to go back to your clients you've sold houses to in the last couple of years and find out where they are at financially. Find out, did they take advantage of that forbearance policy? And they haven't been foreclosed on, but maybe they're on the brink of it. And that might be an opportunity for you to either send it to me and we can help do a refinance, or put the house in the market. They may have to sell. Right. So that's something that we want to keep in mind going forward. They said 1.7 million people applied for the forbearance. 1.2 million people came out in September. So, we got about another 500,000 people that are going to be coming out in the next 30 days.
There's a lot of articles too, if you are signed up for the Massachusetts Association of Realtors, if you get Boston Magazine, Northeast Association of Realtors just sent something out the other day with an article with regards to this. Are we going to see foreclosures? Are we going to see a lot of properties that we can save as real estate agents to go through before that process happens? Otherwise, they see that market becoming another market.
Yeah, for sure. Then finally, our transition to Guild was completed back on the 4th. We cut over, spent a week of training. I was learning all new languages and dance moves. It was amazing. When it comes down to it, we're still just analyzing income, assets, and liabilities, right? That's what mortgages come down to. It's just different for us to where we key it in. But now that I've kind of seen behind the curtain and what the wizard can do, there's a whole bunch of tools that they're offering to us that we can pass on to you. More so than just like what we have before, just list reports. So I want to just show you one of those right now. Is the down arrow?
This one. Yeah. Today, Junior.
There we go.
Okay, we'll start there. And then maybe.
So one of the partner applications that we're going to be able to offer, something called Guild to Go. A little different than the RMS Ready app that we had before. The RMS Ready app was basically just something for you to share with a borrower so they can make an application with me. And then you kind of lost touch with it. You'd get email updates for a loan and whatnot, but there wasn't really a lot of interaction with that application. This application not only allows you to give us the referral, but also track it through its process. So you can see, without having to track me down the phone, when the appraisal was ordered, when the appraisal was received, that it's out of underwriting, you have a conditional approval. So it'll track all the different fields. It allows you to also generate your own pre-approval letters. So once I establish what the pre-approval parameters are, I say this person's approved 850 purchase price with 15% down, $8,000 in taxes, $1,800 a year in homeowners insurance. These fields will be somewhat editable for you, but if it exceeds the total monthly payment, it'll prompt you to contact the loan officer. So you won't be kind of rogue off sending out a pre-approval letter that's not going to work. All right. This is just another tool for you guys to have access to operate very quickly. We can go old school too. I'm still taking loan applications on pieces of paper and napkins. So if you need a pre-approval letter, you want to chat it out or talk about it, please give me a call. I'm always available nights, weekends, text messages, whatnot. So we want to just offer you some technology. This was the milestone ones. As you can see, it moves through the different milestones. You can go in and check and see where your loan's at. There's about 10 other tools that I'm going to do a class on later in the month, probably into November. I'll work that out with Ashley. But there's about 10 other tools that you guys can add, arrows to your quiver.
I have a question. During this process, who is responsible on your back end to check the box off? Like, is it just the loan officer or are other people involved on making this? Because there's going to be some people that love this. Jeez, this feels like, hey, I know. I thought it was a touch screen. But a lot of people love the fact that they can watch something like that. But then if somebody on the other side doesn't, check the box. So are you the only person responsible, or are the other people involved?
They would never trust me
Underwriter,
with
this,
that
that.
information. No. So what happens is, as a loan moves through milestones, there's different people involved in the process. So I take the loan application and my team opens it up and then sends it into processing. Once I hit the send to processing button, that happens automatically.
Okay.
When a processor then assembles all the information to turn it into an underwriter,
That will
a button
automatically.
gets clicked and it automatically
Okay.
populates. When we hit appraisal, it automatically populates. So it's not something that has to,
Yeah.
it can never be inaccurate. is what I'm
Got
getting
it.
at.
Okay, good. That's great.
So it'd be a cool tool. Looking forward to it.
Any questions?
One other question. So I heard recently, there was a conference that happened in California regarding lenders in regards to desk appraisals. And there's a rumor that desk appraisals are going to be, that they've been kind of taken away, and now they're coming back on the table.
That's interesting, because I heard the opposite with the CARES Act. We were allowed to do more desk appraisals, so they didn't want people going into homes and such.
Right, correct.
yeah.
Yes. And I heard that it got turned off, and in this conference, in this article, it talked about them being loosened up again, and it's going to actually.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
become permanent. Have you heard anything about?
No. I mean, we still have the option to get the property inspection waiver, but
But May
typically,
1st, because we had the appraisal guys in, and they were talking, they said May 1st that was lifted, and that there was a surge in them that they would have to go, it wouldn't be just outside the property, it would be a full on.
yeah, they have to go inside. Yeah, but I thought you were saying that the desk appraisals were coming back.
Correct.
They are.
That's what
They
that's the article
yeah.
indicated.
Oh, because what we think of as a desk appraisal is that there's no physical visit to the property. That it's just a person at their computer, at their desk,
Correct.
looking things up and then doing the appraisal.
Right.
They're saying that's coming back.
Yes.
I hadn't heard that. Interesting.
I
Well,
think
that's a
there's-
great point, because you don't get the opportunity to go out there and see upgrades and.
Isn't it funny how that works, Heidi?
Heidi says
bank
the short
wants
sale
their
comes in.
money.
They want their money and some, right?
President, yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
See
All
you.
right, we will go on to Mitchell. Hello, good morning.
I must do this a lot.
It's your signature move.
that
Everyone
what-
has their signature.
A few things. Important, when we're going to talk two buyer side situations here. If you represent a buyer and you say to them, who do you want to use for an attorney? You want me to give a referral, blah, blah, blah. That's easy. The part that some of you are not doing, which is to the detriment of your client, is you should also, in that conversation, be asking your client who their lender is. And in turn, checking with the attorney if that attorney is on the
I knew you were gonna.
list for that lender. Because
Explain this list, though. Go even
Sure.
deeper detail of what
No
you're
problem.
talking about.
most lenders have closed attorney lists, meaning they have a finite number of lawyers that are allowed to represent them in doing closings for them. Some lenders, a lot of the larger ones, have an open list, meaning any Tom, Dick, or Harry can do a closing. But virtual, that's, Bank of America, Citizens, Santander, those places. But putting those aside, every place else has a closed list. Here's the problem. If your client picks ABC Mortgage as the lender, and ABC Mortgage doesn't have John Smith, the lawyer, on the approved list, you're now in a situation where they're using a lender to represent them personally, but John Smith can't do closing for them. So now first of all, you got two lawyers in the mix where they really only need one. That's a pain in the ass. If that.
And they don't explain that. Hold on. They don't explain that. So if you're not educating your clients on what Mitchell's saying, that's where it really gets
Right.
the lines get crossed, because then you're like, where's Mitchell? Because you have no idea.
Right.
And then this other guy represents the bank, comes to do the closing, and they're just representing the bank, and your client's actually not really kind of being represented. But
Right,
they are.
and I'm gonna come back to that in a second. So what happens is you got two lawyers involved, you got two legal fees involved. We, for example, if we're doing both jobs, we discount our personal representation rate because we're doing both jobs. if you've got two lawyers, they're gonna both charge full cost, so it's costing your guy money, it's gumming up the operation. Now, here's what's important. This is where you guys need to be involved. If your unknowing client calls the loan officer who is doing transaction for them, virtually every loan officer has a buddy lawyer. So they're going to attempt to steer the client to use for the representing the bank, their path, who may not be John Smith, probably isn't John Smith. Your client's gonna say, oh, okay, because they don't know the difference. You do. So you should get involved in that process. You should be speaking to the loan officer. You have the leverage. They need you. You people in this room, you people on the Zoom call. You refer business to lenders. They're not going to want to piss you off. They will not try to piss off the client, but the client, they will know that the client doesn't know the difference and will just say yes. And then when you get around to asking the question about can Mitchell or John Smith represent the lender, it's too late. They've already ordered title, blah, 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 blah. So you need to get involved. You need to take control at the outset. Yes.
So just from a preventative measure, from a coaching standpoint, I implement this and I encourage all new agents to implement this, is that people should be doing buyer consults before they even show a property. I'll do a buyer consult after I connect to a lender, I set up a Zoom buyer consult, and I discuss the process from end to end, because it's an overwhelming process. And if I'm big on expectation, if I'm setting the expectation from the jump, they can't say I didn't want it.
Correct.
So if you implement a buyer, consult from the jump, they not only understand the process, but they understand who you have relationships with. And if they're uncomfortable with that, want to go their own way, then you've already had that discussion.
So you can answer this question because you know what you're talking about. Why do many realtors not do that?
I honestly have no idea.
I can answer that.
I was like,
Ding, ding, ding.
I'll answer the question for you. It's because they don't know the
They don't,
process.
right.
Well, that's fine. So join the coffee program.
Right.
Okay, all right, so I have some questions though, because I love
Sure.
stuff like this. So, all right, so the attorney that comes from the bank represents who?
Just the bank. I mean, presuming that they're not in that dual position.
Right, so majority is exactly my point. The majority is the bank. They're there on behalf of the bank.
So when you
They're
have,
not the person that is what Mitchell's doing, that whole purchase and sale, right?
Correct.
It's just so different in terms of attorneys. I say this all the time. I'm not going to talk to a attorney about, if Mitchell doesn't do a lot of wills and estate planning, he'll say, Jamie, I do real estate, but you know what? Somebody in my firm does this, see that person. Somebody does divorce and litigation, see that person. Somebody does this, so stay in your lane. When it's like getting a general doctor. So when you just get thrown into the system with that lender and your person's not approved, it does become so wishy-washy that you're getting a general representation, kind of representing the clients for the bank. They represent your clients, but not the way that if you chose a real estate
I try to
attorney.
explain to them that
It's a big deal.
the lender and like, you guys have similar interests. If you want to add additional counsel to represent you personally, should there be an issue, you have every right to do so. Do I think that's a waste of your money and time? Yes. But I
Whoa.
would tell them.
I would never with all due respect,
I'm talking about,
you couldn't be more wrong with all due
Well,
respect.
not, no, okay.
Because that means that the purchase and sale, based on what you just said, who's
No.
representing the buyer in the purchase and sale process?
In the purchase and sales process, usually isn't that represented, the seller would initially write the initial.
Right,
packet
and
with
who
the buyer.
represents the buyer negotiated with the attorney for the seller?
They're working on the best behalf of the lender, but a lot of these buyers don't have additional cost, like money to cover the closing cost, down payment, and attorney fees.
Okay, but you have to also understand that everybody's creative in a money situation. So everything gets somewhat rolled in. So we don't complicate, all right, because this becomes a money thing. So you mentioned money too, right? Our job is to work for cooperation, not for compensation,
Yeah.
even though we are compensated per MLS and from your contracts. So this is your first line of business. The lines get crossed when we talk about money, because the lender wants to get paid, the attorney wants to get paid, the agent wants to get paid, and somehow we're going to figure it out, whether we're doing prepaids, if we're doing this, we'll figure it out. The buyer, like he said, gets kind of double cost, but they don't really know about it because the lender portion is gonna kind of get rolled in where his portion might be coming directly to Mitchell's office. And it is double cost.
Yeah.
My biggest thing would be whoever your 5 top lenders and attorneys are, that's your database, guys. So he's right. You have the most influential, but so does the lender. Okay, so if most people go to a lender first, and this is the relationship that I want to talk about lending, because sometimes I feel, not Jason, just lenders in general, they don't really hone in on this concept, and then they wonder why real estate agents don't stay faithful to that one person, because it's a two-way street. If I'm always giving business to Mitchell, and I do always stick up for the attorneys, it's kind of
You're very
weird.
good about that.
It's because they're not usually going to the attorney first to say, hey, Mitchell, I'm about to sell my house and I have questions. Where they're going is wherever they're going to, they're talking to a lender first. Most of the time, they're talking to a lender
Because they need a pre-approval.
because they need the pre-approval to even see if it makes sense before they even come to the, it's like, and say it's 50-50. Some of you are like, actually, they're gonna call me first to see what the value is. When you do the research, it would be shocking. And there is a report that's put out every year by the Northeast Association Realtor. And last year it wasn't a 50-50. It was like, say 70-30, where they're going to the lender first because they're going for either refi or they're going for how much can I buy if I was thinking about selling. And so now they build the relationship here. If the lender is really great, then they're going to say, you know what, I have a real estate agent that can give you a free comparative market analysis, blah, 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 and lead them to the agent. Now, if a lender leads you to a property, you should not be leading that person to a different lender. True? Okay, so there are roads in this real estate map, and some people don't play them. That's why people are nervous about the referrals. But it's the same thing with the attorney. So you do have control because the majority of people are thinking about the real estate agent they need and the money they need. They're not thinking about this legal person over here because they think you are the legal person. That's what they think. They really don't know, especially the ones that sold a long time ago with a whole booklet of purchase and sale paperwork. And we're like, that's gone. Everything's electronic and here's how it is. So to insert this piece is huge. My suggestion is go pick your top 5 lenders, your 5 attorneys, and have these conversations with them and say, hey, listen, what are the ones that you might be on? I would call Jason and say, Jason, I work with these 5 attorneys. Are they all on this company? If not, I need that to happen, make that relationship happen, however he has to apply to make it happen, because these are the 5 people that I like to use. And if we're going to be in relationship together, that's you controlling your value proposition of your business. If you're not doing that, you're lacking one area of value there. It's 100% true.
Will they, and maybe Jason knows the answer to this, will a lender go and take that step if there's not already a deal, like under contract? Like say if I say, hey, Jason, Mitch on your list, and if he's not, you get him on, then you might, or you have to wait until you actually have a deal.
No, I don't have to wait. I put him in touch with Roy Bickford. He's our vendor management control, and get the CPL letter, the just a few other documents they need, and they put them right on the list.
So there's motivation.
I also feel so if you're working with a lender.
Because sometimes when you're in the process of the transaction, there are smaller companies that can't get the attorney on fast enough for him to represent at the closing. And so if we're really gonna now talk about compensation, and you guys wanna be like honest with compensation, why are you going to let him make half of his money when this could have already been stopped? Because he's in it to provide for his family and his future. And so is the person representing the bank, so is the lender, and so is the real estate agent. And by the way, so are your clients. And so all in all, it's kind of like being educated. Here's another one. This kind of ties in. A lot of your friends don't know that you can get a referral fee if they really do choose to go use, and I'll just use her because I worked there, Lillian Montaldo. So if I already know and I'm going up for something, my neighbor is like, we're going to interview other people, Tom said I would proactively in a second send a letter over to Lillian and be like, hey, by the way, I have a confidential property for a listing. If you want it, let me know. And I would do that knowing that that's the 25%. That's me. A lot of your friends and family across the US and they're moving, they don't know that they can help you with the referral. We miss the referral all the time. And so that's another thing. And you know why they don't know? Because they don't know how you make money. Just like you don't really know how Mitchell makes money unless you really went through a course of like Mitchell telling you exactly how he makes it. And same with Jason. How many of you know how much Jason makes on a $500,000 purchase? Nobody in this room. And if you do, I want to see you after. No, just kidding. But think about it. But if you did, and you had a great relationship with that person, then maybe you would want to work with them even more because you understand, wow, okay, so that makes sense. This is where your point margin is. This is where we need to be because everyone's in it for that as well as cooperation. Okay. Yes, Frank.
If a lender, if a buyer goes to a lender to get pre-approved.
Yeah.
How does the buyer say also, this is my attorney, and then it has to be on a list? Isn't the lender going to say, this is the attorney who is handling the closing?
So there are lenders that when a borrower goes to Jason, if there is a referral program, if there's more compensation to be had, like it's not my business. But Jason might, again, if he had no idea that you were working with Mitchell and you're the borrower, your first point of contact is Jason. Jason might say, hey, listen, this is how it's going to work. And we have a really great legal system here where we're going to provide an attorney for you for the close, da, 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 da. And they might try to influence you.
But if I have, if I go to Mitchell also
Yep.
and say, I want him to represent me.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be on anybody's list because he's representing me. correct?
No, he has to in order to do, so you're missing one thing. In order for him to actually partake in the closing process, the day of the closing, and to do all of the stuff that you kind of hired him to do, he can't do that. It will have to be the guy sitting for the bank if he's not on the bank's list. But that's gonna come out of, he's gonna make a little less, and this guy's gonna make a little less, because we've almost divided into two agents.
So I can't just pick up an attorney I want to represent me personally.
You can.
And say. I don't
Yeah,
care
you
if
can
he's on
double
the
dip. You
list
can
or
pay
not.
this one, and by the way, you're gonna actually be paying this one too.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, that was the
it's
point I'm
money.
trying to make, is that in this market, it's tough because people are running out of cash. So at any point, they're like. I
With
don't
all
know,
due
I have to
respect,
pay
I've
for an
been doing
attorney,
this
I'll go
for
with
almost 40 years. I've never once had a problem because of money. And I would suggest this to you. If you have a lawyer on the seller side and they draft a purchase and sale agreement and your buyer gets it and it's Greek to them, and which is going to be the case, Jim.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lawyer. Who do you think going to call with their questions?
I've always had an option when I discuss with the closing attorney to say, can you represent that person sales? And they always say yes for additional fee.
That's-
That was just always the.
You're
direction I was
saying,
going.
then you're saying the same thing I'm saying.
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just an additional fee.
Right. So my point being is, but if they don't, if you do frame it that way, and they don't want to pay the money, they're gonna ask you to answer the questions. What are you gonna say?
Never, I've never
Not
had someone
me.
say I don't want an attorney.
Not me. Here's my real estate license.
Right, so what
But
am
you get
I-
the point. The point is that we don't want,
You guys shouldn't be practicing law. I say that
Yeah.
every single meeting.
Yeah. I mean, also, I mean, there's some people that are on this Zoom or in this room that also decide to write their own purchase and sales, which makes me crazy because that's not your job either. Although at our company and other companies, we do teach that. When I first came to Keller Williams, there were classes on purchase and sale and how to write a purchase and sale. And me, I was like,
Well, part of the
Why do we
problem
have
is
that class?
with national realtor companies, a lot of states, like New Hampshire, are title states, meaning the lawyers aren't involved.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's why that's part of the Keller Williams package. That's not necessarily appropriate, in my opinion, here in Masters.
right.
I'll just go one other
Yeah,
thing quick.
yeah.
Cash deals. Again, buyer side. Cash deal, one of the appealing things of cash is that you don't have to worry about getting approved by a lender. And secondly, the seller looks at it as, this can happen much more quickly. That doesn't mean much more quickly as next week. The attorney, and presuming the buyer has an attorney to title exam and all that kind of stuff, it's the same stuff we would do for a cash deal as for a deal.
We want you to move faster.
But I understand that, but and we do move faster, but we hire out people to do the support plans and municipal lien stuff. It's
And the
come from the
title.
town and the title exam. We don't physically do that stuff ourselves, so there's only so much you can rush stuff. My point being is, when you're putting a deal together on a cash deal, you gotta give it a couple of weeks. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Last thing, those of you that know me, know my firm, we do what's called lunch and learns every month. Where we talk about, and my partner, who also happens to be my wife, who's Jamie loves, comes with me, and we talk about issues that have occurred in our firm for real estate stuff in the previous month since the last time we were here. Some of them deal with this office, some of them deal with my wife, Anne Marie, her practice, which is a different geographical area than ours. And we talk about it, and then that breeds questions and other things from you guys. So it happens that our next one is tomorrow at noontime here. We bring lunch in, so on and so forth. That's how I check my numbers. And
It's very similar to this.
right.
Like this is a shareholder meeting, and I love when we get into these conversations. It's gonna help you go do what you do best. This is exactly what it is. It's a mastermind. It's an open forum where we're here to discuss different ways to do things, and then the proper way to do things.
That's right. And those aren't always the
So be
same.
here tomorrow at noon.
They're not the same thing necessarily.
Perfect. So we'll get a head count. So if you haven't let Ashley know and you're here today, or you're on Zoom, send her a quick text or an email so we can get appropriate head count for you guys.
And we've had a very exciting last month, so we got lots of interesting things to talk about.
It's always exciting over in your firm.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
And not because the real estate, it's
No,
more of
it's
the
your-
family law and.
It's everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of you know this, and I didn't until you need it. You don't know what you don't know until you need it. And their law firm is not just real estate. So they specialize in,
Probably our biggest area of practice is family law, in terms of the number of lawyers we have. We have a very healthy estate practice, we have a healthy real estate practice, litigation, so on and so forth. We're both in New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
I think the estate one would be a great one to
Hey,
bring
well, I
in.
need you guys to tell me, and I'll bring in an estate person in here to talk to everybody.
I think that will be great, especially because of what's going on with COVID and people passing unexpectedly and what's going on in the world. You know, I've had a couple of people die in the last couple of months from COVID, and it is a morbid thing to think about. And I'm not going to go too into the rabbit hole, but you don't think about these things. Like, you know, I have 3 kids, and I don't even think about something happening to me between this moment in time to by tomorrow. I just think I'm going to be here tomorrow, but I didn't have a will, and I own a house, and I own investments, and I have a great retirement plan, and I have this, and when you start thinking about it, I'm like, oh no, like, does the government, who is not really my friend right now, do they take everything and it just goes into a court system and whatever? And it's unfortunate circumstances like that that lead us to getting those answers. My mom being in the hospital and all this stuff, I'm like, oh my God, power of attorney, what's this, what's that? So I think that would be a great one to bring in, not to go with the moment, but that's what's happening, and people aren't
And
thinking about
nothing-
what the next plan is.
Nothing will stall your transactions more than a property being sold out of an estate because someone died. It screws up titles left, right, and center. So what Jamie says is absolutely true about how it affects you, but it also affects you in your practice. If you're a list and if you're going to be a listing agent, and you're going to have somebody for an interview, and they say to you, "I'm selling my mother's house," there's a bunch of questions you need to ask, not just say, "Oh, that's nice," and put the daughter's name on the purchase sale agreement, and the daughter has nothing to do with it.
We should start with that tomorrow at the lunch and learn.
Well, we actually talked about it at the last motion.
Yeah.
Topic.
Oh, good. Okay, so then there you
They
go.
have to sign it specifically like personal representative
Well, it depends how
Right,
deep
right.
into the,
So if they have a trust, it's the trustee.
that's another whole.
Yeah, and we'll get into that because we could do this whole meeting on that, and that's
But the
tomorrow.
point is, I encourage you to come, and if you come, you ask the question, and we're gonna give you much more information that you possibly want.
Tomorrow.
No, but so come, I mean, that, again, it's not you're not obligated to use us or anything like that, we'd like it. But, we're here to really help out. We've had a long-standing relationship with Keller Williams. We've been doing this for years and years and years. So I encourage everybody.
Maybe co-branded flyers, just because if we're doing those flyer presentations, I always like to say, like, on a resource, I know people like to.
I can.
Having the co-branded flyers
I
is
can-
helpful to share.
That's a great idea. We can do that.
And a team flyer that shows who the lender is, who the attorney is, who the appraiser is. who the-
Okay, that's marketing 101 in November. Mark, come on up here. And we are gonna be talking about something, so I'm gonna tie that comment into the magazine today, so, Mark.
Rose between two thorns.
Oh.
You give yourself such high confidence.
Hey,
Someone's got it.
thank you. A great September. The GCI was $600,000 more than September 2020, which we retained somewhere between 9 and 12% of that. So say 60,000 roughly. So the agents made an extra $540,000. You doubled your listings sold. And, one of the things on the GCI that helps is the average sales price. So your average sales price today is, for the year to date, is 506,000. Any idea where it was in 2011? 321. So we're talking about $180,000 difference in sales price. And you can do that times 2.5% or 3 or 2, whatever you want. But you can figure out that that's some of it. So you still have to keep at it because the market's going to change at some point. It's October, and October is the start of what?
Yeah, buddy.
Why does someone always go to booze?
Thank
And it's
you,
Brian.
Brian.
It's the start of the fourth quarter. Okay? And when you relate that to, say, football, when you get into the fourth quarter, what is the biggest thing for leaders or for people in the fourth quarter of a football game?
It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Yeah, and it's the pressure that you have. And so one of the things in the fourth quarter that I encourage people to do is, as you're starting to have some anxiety towards, how am I ever going to do what I did last year, which is what so many of you say to me in the beginning of the next year. And I just say, well, why don't you take a diary of everything that you did year to date and then repeat it. And then if you need to do more, you can double it or whatever you need to do. But my point to it is this: you need to break things down and into your 3 big rocks. What are they? And those 3 rocks are what you're going to focus on every single day. And that's going to get you to be where you were last year or the year before. You just have to break things down. 2004, this time of year, what was going on? The Red Sox were playing the Yankees in the ALCS. And they were down 3-0. And then they won the 4th game. And did they call themselves the Idiots?
Yeah. Yeah, the end of it, right?
And Kevin Millar, who was chief idiot, after they won the 4th game, he said, just let us win. Don't let us win one more. Right? And then after they won the 2nd game, he said, no one's ever come back 0-3 to win a 7-game series, but they've come back being down 1 and down 2. And so what they did in 2004 was they broke it down game by game, right? And that's what you need to do in the fourth quarter. In order to get big, you need to make things small. So break everything down into small pieces and you'll have a great 2022. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go Sox.
All right, so, I don't know, Susan, are you on the call? Just because I can't see other people in here. No. I'm just gonna talk in terms of the broker minute. Many of you received the email, hopefully, about zip forms. Does anybody use zip forms currently, still right now? Okay, so there are a few people in our office that still do. If you're still using zip forms, then MAR will be replacing zip forms with a new product. And if you do have all of your stuff in zip forms, then you need to get them out and download it onto your personal hard drives by December 15th. Because on December 16th, they are shutting down that system and you will not be able to retrieve them. So if if you use zip forms, you probably wanted to hear what I just said. And if you don't, then you can just forget about it. We'll move on. All right, getting paid. Kate. Let's talk about these things. These two areas of getting paid. So we talked about it yesterday and it's been brought up. And so I just want to say, Kate, on Friday, I took a couple of phone calls and we understand that you want to get paid on time and we want to pay you. The one thing that I don't like about, it's your number one job, you better love it. But the one thing that we don't know, and I think it's every real estate company, we don't know that you have something under agreement until when?
Until we submit.
Till you tell us. I don't care if you submitted, if you emailed me, SOS flag, texted me, put it into opportunities would probably be the best thing so that we know. But some of you hold this until when? Literally either the day before closing or it's closing
Or
this
like, I had a
afternoon.
commission check and I'm emailing you saying like this is.
And they're like, I need a
Another commission
commission
check,
check, I have a
I love you.
closing. And we're like, that's so awesome, congratulations. What are you talking about? And they're like, and it doesn't matter, let me tell you, this could be somebody's first transaction and it could be somebody's umpteenth transaction, okay? Whether you use a transaction manager or not, your job is to know how to do this at least one time. I don't feel as a team leader in anything in business, including the 2 restaurants, we have done every position there when we first opened La Rosa's. I did not want to know how to cook like Paul. I wanted to stay out of the kitchen. I didn't want to wash those big pans. I had to learn POS systems. I had to learn every compartment of when we first opened 13 years ago, so that when I hire an Ashley or I hire a Heidi, that I know that they're doing the right job because they hopefully either learned it by me or they came from another restaurant that used that product. And I have to trust that they're doing it because when I see the reports, they look like the reports that I was trained on. Some people go right from transaction to using a transaction manager and they don't know how to do this. So we have come into some things where people think they can scan all their documents into Kate and say, here's my file, I want to get paid today. And Kate's like, I still want to pay you at some point, and these forms are great. But now Kate has to go through them. We have to teach them how to do opportunities. And I'm going to tell you, agents aren't patient, and you're definitely not patient if this is a closing that you need money from to pay your bills or whatever you're doing with it. So it can be aggravating. So let's talk about the commission referral tab, commission tab, and where to put in concessions.
Yeah,
On
I'm actually gonna make a little video and send it out, just because we're seeing a repeat pattern of missing referrals, missing, deductions or concessions, anything like that. So there is actually a place, and Steve Fisicelli was here yesterday, and I said, I can send you a video. He goes, no, I'll figure it out myself. He did, so it's actually quite an easy thing to do. But let's just get I want to make sure, first and foremost, not only do you get paid, but you get paid correctly, and everybody else involved in your transaction gets paid correctly. And I hate paying people incorrectly. Regardless of what happened or whose fault it is, I hate when money goes to somebody it shouldn't, then I gotta take it back. That sucks. And then also then there's a person over here being like, wait, I haven't been paid at all. But then, so I just want to make it as easy as possible to everybody. So I'll send out a loop video. And one thing I do also want to bring up when we're talking about paid, if you are paying, I'm trying to figure out a way, and John brought up a good idea, but your co-broke, some people put co-brokes in, some people don't. Some people put the full amount the co-broke gets, not what we're paying them specifically. So I'm going to be sending out some messages on this so that we can just all get on the same level playing field, and again, make sure that everybody gets paid and taxed on the correct money that they're making. And also, if you're paying, if you're on a team and the team splits, make sure that we're doing those correctly. That's been another thing we see across the board, the teams, the splits and stuff like that. So Jamie and I are gonna get together with teams and deal with that differently, but there's a lot of things I'm seeing that generally we can say, like, this kind of concerns everybody. And those, like the paying the co-broks and getting people with getting concessions in and referrals in is one of them that we're kind of all over the place generally. Yeah.
The lawyer representing the bank and doing the closing has absolutely no idea what the commission is total and how the split is. We rely 100% on what comes from you. So if you give us the information wrong, that's going to show up in the settlement statement wrong. And the most important point is, if you're not charging enough and there's not enough, and you're getting,
I can't see how many CDs are coming.
and so therefore you're now going to have to go back to your seller and ask for money.
This has happened.
That does not
so
look good.
much.
That does not look
It
good.
happens so much. And I've never seen it before, but it's happening quite a bit.
It's honestly, in 8 years, almost 9 years of being a team leader, I've never seen it. It's this year, it's last quarter, Q3. All right, so Q3, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. So basically, let's say that, well, there's different scenarios that have happened here. So if we don't know, if Mitchell doesn't know that you're being paid out 4%, and on his portion it says 3%, then the check was cut for 3%. But you were expecting 4%. And the time it gets to Kate at 3%, and you guys, you are busy, so it gets to Kate, Kate direct deposits it. All right, some agents pick up on it right away and say, you know what, I was supposed to get paid this amount, something must be wrong because only this went to my account. And then some other people come to the table 5 months later and they're like, I think there was a mistake on a commission check from months ago, okay? It really is scary that I almost think that we're going to have to put on the calendar for everybody how to calculate your commissions. Literally, John.
That's the only thing I know.
I know, John. It's scary. It's scary. I just want to say, I'm not joking. I want to say that it's scary because we are the only company, Keller Williams is really one of the only bigger companies that allows the agent to do this. And it scares me because a lot of you are wrong. I don't know. I don't know if it's a math thing. I don't know if it's a technology thing where you forget to put, there was a referral fee out of this and you thought you put it in the notes and We get that technology we can handle. That's what we're working on. We're going to do some recordings. We're going to send them to you and they're going to be on a commission tab. You're going to get all that. More importantly, you're doing the math and your math is not right.
And you should also be talking to your TCs about that. I know that we send out commission statements, everybody's looking at them and everybody's including them. But we've had instances where everything still isn't right and it's closed. And also one thing that I see a lot of is that the commission in command is one thing, the commission on the CD is another, the checks I'm receiving are another. And I have to go off the legally binding document. So whether it's what you expected or not, that's what's on the document. I don't, we just kind of seem to be all over the place with our math and we just gotta.
Let's just work together. And again, we've talked about this for 2 months in a row. Here's month number 3. Come from curiosity, settle down, everybody, please. And write the email or make the phone call politely if you have a question that something's wrong on your financials. Stop coming in hot and blaming. Because most of the time what we're finding is it's not Kate, actually. It's either the attorney because the attorney. It's either the attorney's office because like Mitchell said, they went off of whatever was here. Sometimes it could be over in lending. Sometimes it's off the CD. Sometimes it's over here. But I'm going to tell you most of the time, It's not Kate. Kate's actually just going by what she received, which is the HUD, and then you have to back it up. A lot of you who have teams, it's your transaction coordinators. They need to get together and come to our classes on how to do the formula and the math to get paid as well, okay? So I'll put that into broker and MCA minutes, watch the videos. And guys, if there's a mistake, we can pay you. Just don't come to the hour on a Friday at 4:30 thinking that that might get resolved in 30 minutes. You'll get it Monday. Mark, John,
I have a comment and a question. Comment is,
comment.
you ought to be reviewing the settlement statement with your client a day or two before the closing, and that should include usually the day before, the attorneys. And that will show you where the commissions are, where a lot of money's going. They're hard to understand, those simplified.
But, oh wait,
Learn how to understand.
correct. There's only a couple lines on there that John's really talking about that you should know, because this is your money and this is your seller or buyer, whoever you're protecting. So you should have a general understanding on how to read that. That should actually be a class.
And
Put that on this.
question is, what is our policy when we are due money at a closing, maybe a little bit, because the entire commission, about writing the co-broke check? If we're covering the co-broke check, but not the entire commission, do we wait till we get the entire commission before we pay anybody? Or do we write the co-broke check if we have sufficient money? Or-
This is a great question. So I'm gonna bounce this to Jill for a minute, because I think that maybe Kate, we've all came from the same office, so we've all operated pretty much the same way, but Jillian's on here.
Jay, can you repeat it? I could only hear a little bit of what John asked.
So what is, to be clear for our agents, what is the policy that if our company is owed a little bit of commission at closing, what is our policy about writing the co-broke check?
So if we're due money at closing, all right, let me back up. If we're holding the money in escrow, we will pay our agent first. Whatever is left over goes to the co-broke. Now, let's say we have enough to pay our agent, but we don't have enough to pay the co-broke their full commission. We will pay what we can, and we ask that the closing attorney pays the co-broke directly what is left over. It does not need to come back to us, because then we have to just rewrite a check out to someone else.
So we do have some perplexed faces in the room.
I don't know why. So, all right, so we
So-
always pay our agent first. End of story. If the co-broke is due money and we are only holding some of it, the rest of the money comes from the closing attorney. So our
And
agent,
who reaches out, Jill, who reaches out to the closing attorney to say that Keller Williams is sending over 8,000, but please pay Gretchen 2,000 at who's responsible for putting that to
Great.
communication together?
great question. That actually is on the commission statements that are in the samples in the all agent access drive. It tells them exactly how to write it on the commission statement, so that when they're writing the commission statement, it's very clear as to how it's supposed to be broken up. So right on the commission statement, it should say leading edge
No.
to 8,000.
All right, hold on, listen. Who's writing the email to the attorney that says, Mitchell,
Agent,
we want to, okay.
the
go on.
agent or the
So-
TC.
Now, most of the time, the agent doesn't know what. Like legit, guys. The agent doesn't know how much we're holding. I don't know why, but you're not thinking about that. The agent,
Oh, no.
No, no.
Of course you do.
wait,
Yeah, we do.
hon,
Yeah.
we're supposed to, John. This is stuff that I'm not making up. Like there are agents, whether it's their first transaction or their,
She's
I
right.
promise you, or they're in the top
I've
5 or
I've
10.
had people ask consistently, can you tell me how much we're holding in escrow? Consistently, we'll ask.
Right. And I think that honestly, that's just it's lazy. Okay, I didn't have to say it. We had 2 women in here that said it, so we won't name them and who they were. But it is lazy. Like you have a job. Like I just want to tell you that you're making more money than I'm making. And Jillian's making and Kate's making. And so we want to help you make that money. That's a choice why I'm in this position. She's in that position and she's in that position. But we can't do everything for you. And this is like one of the things as a responsibility that you gotta kind of know. You have to know how much we're holding, you have to know how much, and you have to communicate with the attorney. And if you need help with this, then you should be guiding with our MCAs. It should. So again, if you get an email from Kate and it's a polite email, then it's about you. You're the one doing it. Everybody else, if you're not getting these emails and you're like, this has never happened to me, thumbs up for you. It means you must be doing it right. But please don't take it personally. And if you do have any indiscrepancies, it's still on you. It's usually not on Kate. We're gonna help you figure it out, but we just need you to be patient.
And they don't look at it, and then you get to closing, and they don't have to check.
Okay, so there's two problems there. That's on your attorney and it's still on you. So if I sent it to Mitchell's office and Mitchell didn't read it, it's on Mitchell, but you're representing until it's on record. You have a fiduciary responsibility of care, obedience, and due diligence, and you should be looking at it too, that when you're at closing, you should be asking questions and making sure that the allocated amounts go to where they go.
Does everybody know what an excess deposit is?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody? here
Not,
not?
you'd be
Okay.
surprised. A lot of them don't.
Okay, what an excess deposit is if the commission is $15,000, okay, total commission, and the deposit was $20,000. There's $5,000 left, you're on the listing side, there's $5,000 left over that your office is holding that you owe the seller. We can't get to closing, or I prefer not to get to closing and have my people having to chase you down or chase whoever is in your transaction board to find out how you're getting the $5,000 to the seller. You should be telling us that. And that doesn't happen generally.
It
And it's not-
doesn't.
It's not,
happen.
again, anything I tell you is not unique to this office or this company, or it's
It's
across the
everywhere.
industry.
It's not just you.
Yeah.
It's them too, those others, the other company. But it's serious, like, it's scary. Sometimes I really don't, it worries me because
A
I
lot of
take
Lawyers have a
pride.
hard time figuring out commissions too, for how to show it on the sales.
Just as an offer.
Next slide, Jonathan. Okay, Agent Leadership Council, we do have some updates here. So I'll start first. First of all, congratulations for many agents. About 30 of you will receive an email in the next day or two that says that you're in the top 20% and you can be considered to have a conversation about being a representative on the Agent Leadership Council for next year. So if you get the letter and you're interested, it says it in the email, you reach out to me. You reach out to me. I will reach out to you by email and maybe just follow up with a text or a call that you got it. But if you're interested, you schedule it with me. Let's see, for Jeffrey, we want to remind you all that we are doing a lead generating marathon. I will be here doing it. I'm hoping that you are. It will be a fun night. So in November, we're doing a whole month of give thanks. So this is not your typical lead generating night where you're potentially calling for just listed, just sold under agreements. This is a night where you're giving back to your whole entire contact list, basically in your phone, just to say, I just wanted to call and say thank you for whatever, being a friend, being my client this year, your referral, how's everything? This is your touch. And that is lead generating. Some people just think that just asking for the business can be lead generating, when the follow-up and staying in touch with your clients is a big part of it. So we will provide pizza, we'll have drinks. It will be from 4 to 7 on November 18th. And we're gonna spread out in the office and make it fun. So bring a list, bring your phone, and come join us for lead generating. Steve, are you on the call? And if not, I can speak for you, but so for the finance committee, we are having business planning. So today, if you're doing the Gene Rivers business planning, it's this afternoon from 1 to 5. It's free. It will be recorded. I hope that we'll get access to it. But Gene Rivers is phenomenal at business planning, and the fact that they're providing it free to our region is great. So it's today and tomorrow. It's not too late if you want to jump on. Even if you just got the second portion tomorrow, we'll resend that link out to you. And then in December, I have a tax consultation. I have a tax person coming here to explain to you the last month of the year what your money looks like. Should you go buy that 6,000 plus car as a write-off? Like, where do you stand? And then this person's actually going to offer an hour of free consultation for tax purposes. So take them up on that opportunity. That will be in December. For the fund committee, Jen, we have the Oktoberfest. In November, we're going to do the axe throwing. So here's how this works, just like with the golf. We send out an awesome idea to keep the camaraderie of like, hey, let's do something. And then we really want you to say that you want to do it. We got to know, kind of like Mitchell's Lunch and Learns. Many of you show up, there's 15 of you, but only one person usually responds. I don't get it. You have to respond for us to have a head count. But the axe throwing is awesome. It's local. We're going to do that in November. And then in December, we are going to do, we are going to be a drop-off location for Toys for Tots. We will be doing the giving tree for the kids who need Hanukkah and Christmas gifts. And we will be doing a mimosa Yankee swap. But we're going to wear rubber gloves. I have to say, we're only 1 out of 5 out of 30 market centers that have in-house anything, training, meetings. Like, I was shocked when I was on that call and they were like, we can't get together as an ALC. Like, we can't get together. And I'm like, what does that mean? Do we live in a different rock here in Andover, North Andover, like this area? Because this is a full filled room and we have 65 people RSVP'd Oktoberfest. So I'm like, am I breaking the law? No, I think just every market center does what they want in terms of safety and stuff. So that being said, we are going to do the Yankee swap and I will be providing rubber gloves. And then you can throw them out after you take whatever gift you get. And then the tech meeting, Art is out, but November 11th is the tech meeting. You guys are going to be discussing database and why that's important for Q1 during Q4. Q4, guys, don't forget, it's going to go fast. Like right now it's October, but you have the holidays, you have Thanksgiving, you have excuses, you have snow days, you have Hanukkah, you have Christmas, more excuses, New Year's excuses, tons of excuses, tons of, unfortunately, a lot of you, it is, you do have free time in there, believe it or not. And if you purposely plan for all the times when you're busy during the, let's just say it's March through now, because you're out selling homes and buying homes and all that fun stuff, this is the time to build your foundation and your plan for next year, like Mark said. So we are going to try to run a lot of great programs for you to jump in on, and it's up to you to jump in on them to further your business. So that would be technology. Okay, Disruptor Magazine. So many of you know that you have in command the capability to create your own magazine, digital magazine. Some of you use it. It can be 4 pages, 10 pages, it doesn't matter. Our office is launching this week to the top 850 agents in the community that are not with Keller Williams. This fantastic magazine, if you want to take a look at this one, this is the only one that we have. And in the magazine, I want to show you, and I'm just going to exit out of here. Let me go up top here. Let me move this space bar. All right, that's luxury, so it should be right here. Wait, I need this guy to move.
Keep going.
Got
There
it.
you go.
Okay, so even though this is a printed copy that's going out to all the real estate agents, what's in it? Okay, so many of you haven't heard the announcements of what's in it, but we featured the top 10 KW agents year to date by volume. Top 10 KW agents year to date by units. Same with teams. Information about our agent leadership council, Keller Williams Mortgage, luxury, what's coming soon. We're opening Tewksbury, we're opening this one, we're opening that one. All that you want to know is within your magazine. Then we're going to follow up to agents in the industry in a smart plan with the digital magazine. So you can see right here on this screen that they can flip through this magazine when they get a link and they can read the magazine. So once we created it in a magazine format, they can have it printed or they can have it digital. So we're also going to talk about luxury a little bit. So let me go back. This is our luxury magazine that you guys will have a link to this afternoon. We're gonna go over the luxury standards here. We have an announcement that many of you do qualify for luxury, and there's amazing benefits that nobody knew about until we dug a little deeper. And so Ashley did make a really great book for you to learn all of the stuff that we're gonna talk about on the slide about how to qualify for luxury and what you get for luxury. Okay, let me go back up to my slideshow. Get in there. I can't move this space bar. You help me, Ash? Oh, there we go. Got it. Got it. All right, so we'll go back to, no. We'll go back here. See this technology, guys? If I can do it. All right, let me move this bar back up here. Okay, so. Come on. All right, so we welcomed 6 new agents last month, so congratulations for making a great choice of joining Keller Williams. And then how do we do this? Well, it's all social and promotional campaigns. We have a lot of sources and information on how to let people learn about Keller Williams without coming in first and getting their real estate license. A lot of you know that we do join forces with ABC Real Estate and offer in-house school here. And hopefully in 2022, we're actually going to have our own school here at Keller Williams. And so we won't need ABC school and it will be all Keller Williams branded. Congratulations to our qualifying luxury agents. And I do want to move this little guy here so we can see everybody. Hold on. Okay, perfect. See, I wanted to make sure that we could see you, Sadie's. Okay, so congratulations. So all of these agents here have qualified for luxury. They are all luxury agents. And so how did they qualify and what does this mean? So here are the KW luxury agent benefits. So you can use the luxury property signs. You'll have to purchase them, but it is a certain brand and color. Enhanced property marketing suite and command. Only people who qualify will have access to the marketing suite. Command marketplace services, which we're going to talk about. Listing syndication in the Wall Street Journal, Mansions, Global, Barron's, and Market Watch. So some of you don't know, but we just announced 6 luxury agents, and when we went on to Wall Street, your properties are actually on the Wall Street Journal. I'd be having that conversation when I'm taking a listing for our buyers and sellers. Enhanced luxury command referral features, the white glove professional service, which you can learn about in the magazine because there's an extra cost to that. Customized luxury signs and masterminds and leaders. So let me just go to here. How to qualify. So we send out this shareholder slide deck, so please take a look at it. So the price point is top 10% of transactions within specific counties. So we put the counties here if you're looking for a specific county to see if your property, okay, so sometimes your property qualifies for luxury, but then once you have so many properties, then you can qualify to be actually the KW luxury agent moving forward to have access to all these suites. So here's an example. I can't remember whose this one is. Sadie's. All right, so this right here, when they go into the Wall Street Journal, it says KW luxury, it's branded, it's Sadie's listing, it's here, it pulls through MLS and it's on their portal, which is a really great thing that she should be discussing with her sellers. Here's the bottom, how it does the property features and things like that on by Mansion Global. So then some of you are like, okay, well, let's say that I'm not luxury. Are there any benefits that I don't know about that we should be highlighting at a shareholder meeting? A lot of you have been talking about a virtual X. Okay, virtual X is, I want somebody to do this for me. If somebody just did this, I would do more business. It's my favorite. Really? Okay, let's challenge that. What do you think that you need in your business that if you thought was being done at a high level, you would have more buyers and listings? Marketing. Marketing. Social media. Marketing. Which one? Websites. Okay, so if you didn't get a degree in marketing, you're probably not building an amazing luxury site, correct, Sadie's? You have to go spend thousands and thousands of dollars to go hire that person to go build it. Okay, that's gonna happen because you own your own business. Do you think at Lafina or La Rosa's, you think that Paul or Mike or me or anybody who's involved in the leadership team, you think that we're marketing that stuff on Instagram? No, some girl that we hired does the posts. This person does this. So in your command portal, up in the top right is a little picture of a house. That is called your marketplace. Now, it's not like Facebook Marketplace where they're selling things, although they kind of are, right? I saw that, John. I was like, well, actually, there's probably a cost to it. Yeah, there's a cost to everything, and some are free, and some are free. So in there, you have already a listing concierge. So if you want to spend $90 and you think that this $90, they will actually connect your Facebook, set up your marketing profile, purchase marketing my listing forms. You select the $90, you get an onboarding call with support. Somebody's communicating with you all the time to do, to do what? We will send out today. We tested Jen Hamilton Bauer's listing to see the interaction. How easy was the interaction? How quick was the turnaround? They ran a Facebook campaign for them. They did the just sold postcards. They did the just listing postcards. They did the open house template sheets and more. And it was very easy. Jillian was the person in between, and they were very easy and pleasant to work with on what they needed from you to make this happen. Our biggest struggle right now is, even if I have this masterminds that we're going to be talking about in November, where I'm bringing in 4 virtual companies, they'll make phone calls, just listed, just sold, under agreement. They'll call neighborhoods. They'll do your marketing. They'll be your assistant. I'm going to give you 4 different virtual companies to choose from, and the costs associated. If you want what you're looking for, marketing, this and that, you can hire these people. But guess what you still have to do? You still have to organize your thoughts and your ideas as to what you want them to do, and potentially what you want it to look like to represent you. So my suggestion in the next 30 days is, if you're looking to leverage any portion of your business, start a bulleted sheet in your Word document, in your notes of your phone, on if you had this magic person show up today for the amount that you want them, you want to pay them, what are they doing for you? Because we're going to give you that, and I want you to be ready. And then I challenge, I would love to see at least 20 of you say, I'm on board, I'm going to go do that. The biggest challenge is getting you guys organized as to what you need. So when we send an email out today, we'll send you the samples that they made for Jen and how easy it was and how they ran her campaign. A lot of the leads were junk leads. Some of them are not junk leads. I've put them into her command portal. I put them onto a smart plan, and I contacted 2 of them, and one of them needs a lender. So I personally pre-qualified the leads that were coming off of this Facebook. So $90, $10 or $20 of it is allocated to like Facebook and campaigns. And they ran the ad, and all the ads went into her thing. I pre-qualified them to see if it's legit. And so she's definitely going to get a buyer out of it. Okay. So I would use them.
Where's this little house on, is this in command?
Correct.
Okay, so you're in command, the house on the left, that's just home.
It's not for right.
It's in the right, and it looks like a little like storefront, like something in Italy, like a little, see it? And when you click there, it's going to bring you to all the stuff that we have in Marketplace for your business. Some of it's free, some of it's a cost. Okay, so we don't have our profit share numbers out because they come out tomorrow on the 21st of every month. You know about profit share. So we thought, Kate came up with a great idea. Our regional call on Monday always does awards and accolades for market center and leadership. So I want to let you all know that we were number 4 in the region for the top profit share as a company. out of, I think, 30 or 32 market centers here. So congratulations to all of you, because that's a huge month, which we had an unbelievable, huge, I think like the best September. So we wanted to congratulate you on that. And then tomorrow we will announce the top profit share earner. And so for the top 10 in profit share, here they are. We were number 7 in terms of like the numbers for 33,630. It'd be great. Let's see, Mark, 86,000. Oh, you guys couldn't make the 100 mark? Seriously? Okay, congratulations for closed volume to Anna. And so for closed volume price purposes here, let me just move on to that. What do we think that volume would have been? 3.3 million. So that's capping in 1 month. And I do love the post. I did see DNA capped in less than 2 months. I know that Jeffrey's capped in less than that. We do have others that I'm not thinking of right now, but it, you know, especially with the price point, guys, and your commissions. Remember, Jeffrey's only been in the industry, I think, 4 years. It's not, if you go look at his price points, I challenge you, the price points aren't high. He knows his scripts, he knows his value, and he doesn't sign his contracts at your traditional amount, and he gets them all signed. And so that's why I think sometimes coming to some of his classes, he tells you the script and he shares the information. It's about you. Some of you have given me feedback and you're like, well, I feel bad. What do you feel bad about? I feel bad about charging them 6% for a listing. You're in the wrong industry, because your job is sales and negotiations. Well, everyone's doing 5, so I feel comfortable with 5. Okay, well then do 5, but you totally can get 6 because other people are getting 6. Just
invest in those companies that you're gonna be having who has several virtual assistants,
Mhm.
you know, ISAs, and that makes a difference when you're at a listing appointment.
when you can control, it's your value proposition. When you really have a handle, to go back to what Mitchell and Jason were saying this morning, when you have a team, and Sarah talked about a brochure, and then Jason added on to it and was like, oh, it'd be great to be able to feature this, this, and that. What if you just made this? Well, because I'm not in marketing. Fine, come to my November thing and have somebody do it. As a matter of fact, Michael Lewis Marketing Suite will build one of these for you. We just got a text message on it for, I think, $100. And then Ashley was like, I'll do $101 for everybody. I'm like, you cannot create them for people yet. I have you doing too many things already. But for $100, I believe, is the setup fee, Michael Lewis Marketing Suite will build a magazine for you.
I didn't know we still had that. Do we still have Scott Leroy?
We have Scott Leroy. So, but Michael Lewis Marketing Suite, this $100 one, you don't have to belong to Michael Lewis. It's just an a la carte product. But what I'm saying is, imagine if you had a brochure about your value proposition, and then you featured people like Mitchell and Jason, or your top 5 lenders and your top 5 attorneys, and your whatever you know, I have staging, I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that, like whatever you have inside of a flip book. You can take a look at it. Unfortunately, because I want you guys to make as much money in profit share, I cannot give all these out printed. I will, however, send the digital. Yeah, I will send the digital one. I also will send you a couple digital samples that I found last night of agents in the KW team leader land, of agents that are doing this at a high level. We put QR codes throughout it. Why? Because then it becomes more interactive. And if they want to hear a video by me, then they'll scan it. If they want to know our new website that we're just launched, that Ashley's been working on, then they'll click here and it will bring them to their brand new website. So it's very interactive. We can teach a class on this too, or you can just leverage it and have somebody do it. Okay, so congratulations, Anna. Let's see, for top teams closed volume, congratulations to the Susan Sells team. And that was almost the same amount. So 3.5 million. So congrats to the whole entire team. For the top group for closed volume, that would be the Loriano team. So that was at, what volume was that? What do you think? Almost 8 million. 7.7 million. here's the thing, in our region, in our market centers, we have top talent. And then in our region, we have top talent. And even within our market centers, it really surprises me that I see that it's 8 million here. And yet there's still that group was still not in the top within the region, because there are other teams and groups that are doing way more than that in a month. And yet I look at this and I'm like 7.7 million, like that's a cap right there. And so congratulations to the team. All right, top individual closed units, all tying in at 5 units. You have a powerful woman rock star team. Anna, Daisy, and Mary Ann Alexander, congratulations. So 5 units closed. Top team for closed units. What number was this? What? 15? Oh, I was like 15. I was like, wow. 8, 6, 6. 666. So congratulations to Susan Sell's team. For top group, closed units. So the closed volume top group was what? Almost 8 million. So now top group closed units. Still the same group. 6. Oh. So what happened there? The commissions, the price point, and I think a couple of them were mixed use and almost commercial development, but nonetheless, it could be 6, it could have said 15. $1 million listed individual, congratulations. Both ladies are in here, Jen and Heidi, congratulations for listing over 1 million last month. Congratulations to the team that listed 1 million, that would be Susan Sells. Congratulations to all team members. Million listed in groups. We have a lot of them. Congratulations to everybody on this slide. The Marin Group over here, DNA, Team Ortega, the Liriano Group, Faulkner and Associates, Fisicelli, and Treetop. So congratulations. I love it. I don't know. I'm just going to put a plug out here for Team Ortega, by the way. I don't know if anyone has met Gloricel, who is in charge of this team, because she was pregnant when she transferred over from another company and had a baby, took some time off, and now she's back in the office, and her office is down at this wing, and she has 2 lovely ladies on her team with her. Whatever she's been working on, though, while she has been on maternity leave on social media is amazing. So if you're not friends with her, please go to Facebook or Instagram and see what she's doing. The reason why it's amazing is it's consistent. It's professional and consistent, and they're doing it themselves. Gloricel Ortega. And so I'm just putting that out there. Great job at marketing. Another person that I've noticed on marketing is Al. If anyone sees Al's posts, phenomenal job. And what is he doing? All he's doing is giving information about what's going on in the communities. And people want that because they don't want to have, before, if you were part of the Mothers Connection or one of these organizations, they used to have like a printed magazine. And then other places like the Eagle Tribune, they used to do a lot and say that Clown Town and stuff was coming. A lot of those places aren't doing it because I think they don't even know what's going on in town. Al, congratulations. You're doing a great job on telling the community, and he's getting a lot of response. So I love that as well. Okay, congratulations to the $1 million sold individuals. I know, congratulations, Anna, Cal, Mary Ann, Daisy, Lori Melanson, Dawn Price, Robin, and Jen Hamilton Bauer. Congratulations, everybody on this slide for $1 million sold individual. $1 million sold teams. Congratulations to the Susan Sells team and to Gem Properties, which I don't believe that Michael's on here because he's been busy in Hawaii, which you should stay there and do this all virtually because I would. The pictures are amazing, Michael, on Facebook. Congratulations to $1 million sold groups. So the Marin Group, congratulations. Faulkner and Associates, Treetop, DNA, and Liriano team. Okay, happy September birthdays to all these birthday babies. I love that we put the pictures on there. Great job. It makes it more personal so that I'm like, ooh. And it helps me with some of you that I've never seen in 3 years, almost 4 years of being a team leader. I'm like, oh, That's what you look like. Come into the office. And then happy September anniversary. So congratulations. Look at Susan Donahue, 12 years at our company, Heidi, 8. We have some 2 years, Richard Todd, 6 years, Sadie, 7 years, Deb, 5. Congratulations to everybody for your anniversaries in September. We appreciate you staying with our company. These are for the numbers. These numbers are not out because I don't know why they're not out. I think the transmittal numbers and stuff should be on there. But it's not too late to RSVP to Oktoberfest. Like I said, we had about 60 people. Some people want to be clear, you can bring a significant other or a +1. You do have to RSVP so that we have enough of everything. We do have food, appetizers, dessert table, pretzels, traditional. We have the sausage guy coming in. He's really busy right now, but after this baseball thing, he'll be coming to us. And we'll have some prizes, some games. We have music. And then we also have local beer. And so we will have a bartender. It will be beer, wine, and a small selection of full liquor of just like sample stuff. It will be in a white tent. So rain or shine, we're still having it. It will be in this back parking lot back there. So if you have an RSVP, please do so. Ashley. Yep. We already talked about this, and I just wanted to remind you at the beginning that our shareholder meeting will be the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and we will be looking for you to participate and bring something to share, probably for about 20 people. And we don't, if there's 2, sweet potatoes, then obviously you're doing something for 10 people and the other person's doing, but we will write a very detailed email on how many people you should be planning your specific stuff for. So any questions, shares, things coming to market, something we can help you with, me, Mark, Jason, Mitchell, a tough buyer, some listings that are coming that you want to announce first, anything anybody wants to share first in this room? Okay, anybody on the Zoom? Does anybody want to share anything? Lori, I think you have your hand raised.
Yes.
Hi.
I have an interesting challenge on, can you hear me okay?
Uh-huh, yes.
Okay. I have an interesting challenge on a listing that I have just signed. The property has not had any homeowner insurance on it. The owner died and the family is, about to list it for sale, and we're having policy. So I was wondering if anybody else had ever run up against that and has any advice for me.
She reached out to me, it's a home that hasn't had insurance, and she's trying to get it down.
Oh, Jasper. Yeah, except Jasper's away.
She did all that.
Oh, no. I called him already.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I spoke to him already. He couldn't find anybody who would write a policy on it. And I've called 7 other insurance agencies as well as Mass Fair Plan.
Tell her I'll send her the name of someone.
Lori's gonna send you some information on somebody that she might have to help.
Okay, thank you.
And Mass Plan won't help you?
I called Mass Fair Plan. They described to me what type of policy we need, but they don't have a list of agents. I have to find one, which I've been trying to do unsuccessfully thus far.
What type of policy specifically are you looking for?
So it occurs to me that we would have to have some kind of homeowner's policy on the property for a buyer to feel comfortable to even go under contract on it, right? Plus, we would need some liability insurance on it. Can you hear me?
Why?
Yeah, I'll tell you why.
Oh,
I'll tell you why. Because if her seller can't find homeowners insurance, her buyer's gonna have the same problem. Resolve it now instead of waiting 6 weeks for the buyer to pull out of the deal because they can't get insurance. She needs fire, she needs liability.
How did these people get it?
So.
They don't have it.
No, when they bought it.
It's,
They let it
it's,
expire.
They let it
We
expire.
bought it
That
cash.
happened-
They've
Mine-
owned it since 1961. They had homeowners insurance on it when they had a loan, but they paid it off a
Lock it
long
down
time
and
ago.
build something else.
There's no mortgage on it.
Okay,
My personal house, I had, my mother had the mortgage, so nobody was paying attention to it. The insurance people I used retired and closed up. I didn't think of that. I just pay my bills when they come in.
right.
Didn't think anything of it. Called for something, and they said, you don't have it. And I said, well, didn't everything transfer, when she sold, didn't it come to you? She goes, yeah, but you never renewed. So I didn't have insurance for 3 years, I didn't know it. So when I went to get it, I had to go through the mass housing plan, because they were the only people who would give it to me.
do you have a connection over there?
You know, this was like 5 years ago.
This house has gone 27 years without homeowners
Yeah.
insurance.
So.
And it has issues on top of it.
Is there a waiting period?
Big money.
No,
So
but
it's not like, okay, 6 months.
the
no
issue
claim?
they have is she needs somebody who writes for mass fair plan. And she doesn't have.
Oh, I'll send you somebody. What about Jillian? Wait, Jillian on there? Magali, what's her name? Deb Longo, Magali. out of the
Jean-Michel.
Writing.
Magali Jean-Michel is an agent. out of
Will you
Boston.
send,
I have her contact info. Okay.
I would try her.
reach out to her?
She
Okay.
deals
So
with
she
a lot of
deals,
that stuff,
she's
a lot of
very
Section
high
8.
up on,
She's kind of like the guru of all that stuff.
she is. Yeah.
Laurie, have you tried
Okay.
have you tried Trudy Mashad Insurance in Methuen?
No, but I will.
She's been around for a long time. She's usually pretty good with coming up with
Okay.
Mashad Insurance Methuen. What makes it
And
so?
Jen just said,
Police show, not police shot.
Jen just said that's exactly that person that Gail's recommended. That's exactly where she got it,
Her mass, she
Her
got
mass
fair plan.
fair plan from.
Yeah,
We use
Trudy,
them for the office too.
Okay.
she does a
I'll
great
call
job.
them.
What makes it so unique? I miss the words. What makes the property so unique?
Well, first of all, it has asbestos siding.
Oh,
Besides that, just the fact that it hasn't been insured for some years, nobody wants to touch it.
okay. Try Trudy.
Land.
Try Mashad.
Thank you,
Um,
everyone.
You're welcome. Deb, did you have your hand raised too? Oh, you have to take yourself off of mute.
I did. I thought I did. Am I off mute now?
Perfect, yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. So it's
Yes.
a listing. So it went live today. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms. I've been working on this for 2 years. So it's on for $699.9 in Stoneham, and there's open houses tomorrow night and Sunday. So if you have anybody in Stoneham, that area, it's a beautiful house.
Perfect. And then anybody else want to? Up, Gail, okay,
Cute little single family coming up in Plastown, New Hampshire. It's a little ranch, great area. They're painting it up now, making it, nice and pretty. Finished family room, 3 bedrooms. Cute, probably 389-ish. Yeah, in about
Okay.
3 weeks.
Plastow, 389. And that goes live when, Gail?
Maybe about 3 weeks. Gonna be a few weeks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Does somebody else have their hand raised here on the screen? No. All right, so we'll do Lori and then we'll talk with John. Good.
I have these awesome buyers that are rented, they're in a family condo right now, so nothing to sell, they're like 30% down, they can go to 1.5. Andover North, Andover North Reading, if anybody knows.
I mean, I'll talk to you after. There's some people that are not with our office that just said coming soon in like 2 or 3 neighborhoods.
So I reached out to Peggy, to Deb, to talk to her.
Deb just listed, there's 3 coming soon that would fit in that, which are great houses. I'll show them to you. John?
At long last, new subdivision in Melrose, the road which has taken forever to build. It's not quite built, but you can get up and see the lots. I'm gonna relist and start doing some site open houses. It's a subdivision of 3,800 to 4,200 square feet. Melrose, close to public transportation, starting at 150.
Wow,
Not
wow. 1.8, starting,
starting,
stop it,
starting.
get out of town. What do the spec homes look like? Do they look like a $1.8 million house?
Yes.
Really? And we are gonna stop recording.